Boom. All right. So, how do you go about improving, or how do you improve time management as a music artist? Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover on this video right after this intro. What's going on? This is Billy here from Big Shot Beats, coming to you live on the Big Shot Heard Music YouTube channel. And that's what we're going to cover on this video. I'm not going to go over the housekeeping right in the beginning right now. I just want to dive in to the time management tips and tricks that I've been able to implement in my life over the past few years. As some of you may know, I'm a father of three, and sometimes things can get pretty crazy. But there's some things that I'm implementing in my life, music being very important part of it, that helped me over the years, and I want to share some of those tricks and tips with you right now. So how do you go about improving, or how do you go about managing your time more effectively so that you can get some things done and so that you can get ahead with the decision that you take to be a music artist? Well, let's go into it right now. So the first tip that I'm going to have to give you is that you're going to have to implement discipline into your life, because you made the commitment, because you decided that you wanted to be a music artist, right? So you're going to have to use things like calendars. You're going to have to, put your priorities straight, because if you're just dabbling and you making this for fun, well, the music thing is just going to be all over the place and you won't be able to fully focus on that. Dive in 100% with discipline so that you can put your priorities in line, be clear about where you want to go, and that's exactly what you're going to focus on. And that's going to lead me in the second tip that I want to give you about time management that's really going to help you identify the things that you're doing and where you can readjust. It's the 15-minute activity tracker that you're going to do. And I'm going to share some resource surrounding this video that's going to help you do just that. It's something that I, tuned into. This is something that I stumbled upon in a presentation that Alex Sharfin, the host of the Momentum podcast, which is a very successful entrepreneur and marketer, he mentioned that you want to go ahead for a 7-day period, or at least a couple days, track everything that you're doing every single 15 minutes. All right. So you're gonna write down every 15 minutes what you did, so that you can keep track of the things that you're doing every single day. It doesn't matter if it's, you took a shower for 15 minutes in the last 15 minutes, you were driving to go to work. If it took you half hour for those last two segments of 15 minutes, you're gonna put what you did on there. So you're gonna track your activities every single 15 minutes so that you can look at that sheet after and say, okay, here's what I did for the last 24 hours. And that's going to help you identify what you're doing more of. If you spend 15 minutes on social media just scrolling your thumb through, then you're going to have to minimize on that so that you can take that time and put it on your priorities, which I know it's making music. You know what I mean? So that activity tracker is very helpful, because he shared that to make us entrepreneurs understand that when there are some things that you're doing too much of, you can actually dedicate these tasks to somebody else to free up some of your time to do whatever you want, or to focus more on the things that matters, the things that are mostly important, right? So by doing that 15-minute activity tracker, and you put all that on a piece of paper or a sheet, and I'm going to share that with you in the description of this video to help you out on that. That's really going to help you identify the things that you're maybe wasting too much time on, so that you can refocus everything on what really matters and what you actually need to put your full attention on, which is making music. All right. Now, the third tip that I'm going to the third tip that I'm going to give you is you're going to have to learn to say no. All right. And the reason why I'm saying that, and it means exactly what I'm saying here, is that sometimes when it comes to the music, we have the tendency of, just saying yes to every single thing, but there's no strategic advantage of being everything to everyone. You know what I mean? You have to stand into your beliefs, stand in your truth, so that if something comes your way, you have to analyze it. You're going to follow your gut, And 9 times out of 10, your gut is giving you the right answer. If something doesn't match your schedule or it just doesn't feel right, don't be afraid to say no. You know, put it to the side. You know you're not gonna have time for it. You know this is not something that you can fulfill on. Don't be afraid to say no so that you can move on and focus on the things that matter most to you, to what you're doing, to your schedule and everything. And this is why you have to use calendars. Plan things out a little bit in advance, write things down so that you can remember and focus on the things that matter. Right? It's really very important. That comes down to discipline as well, which is the first point that I shared on here. All right. Now, the last tip that I want to give you that's going to help you with time management is, have you ever heard of the Pomodoro technique when it comes to time management? So I'm going to share something with you real quickly here so that you can get a good idea of what the Pomodoro technique is when it comes to time management. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo. Hopefully I said that right, in the late 1980s, and I'm pretty sure he's Italian. And the technique uses a timer to break down work in intervals, and traditionally it's 25 minutes in length, separated with short breaks. All right. I'm pretty sure that you've seen that tomato that turns and then goes like tick, 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 and then it stops at some point and stuff like that. So what you could do when it comes to your time management, when you say, okay, I have 2 hours ahead of me and I need to do this specific tasks, is that you don't need to go on a marathon and work or focus on that task for the full 2 hours. You can say, okay, I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes on my phone. And every 15 minutes, when that timer comes up, or when I hear the alarm for that timer, I'm going to take a break of 5 to 10 minutes. And then I'm going to come back to the task that I was doing, so that you can break it down. And this way is going to be more fun. It's going to be more effective for you to get that thing done, instead of doing a full 2 hour marathon. And at the end of that, you're like, man, this is crazy. You holding your head with your hand and stuff like that, and you get tired. And yeah, you may get distractions at some point. And so, I'm pretty sure it happened to you before, where you're doing something and you get distracted by so many things. But if you really want to focus, use the Pomodoro technique so that you can have full focus on the specific task for, say, 15 minutes, and then put a timer on your phone or whatever you want to use, whatever tool you want to use to keep track of that. And then every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, however you want to set it up, you have a 5-minute break. And in that break, you do whatever you want, stretch out, you go for a quick walk, go for a quick run outside, breathe some fresh air, and then come back at what you're doing, so that you can truly focus and get that task done. All right. So with that said, those are the tips that I wanted to share with you. So number one, have discipline. Make sure that you put your priorities straight, so that you can take the commitment to focus on what you want to achieve with your music. And number two is, you're going to want to do that 15-minute activity tracker and put everything down that you're doing every 15 minutes, so that you can see what's going on. And that's going to help you identify the things that you're doing too much of, that doesn't serve you for your career, so that you can get ahead with with what you're so passionate about, which is making music. And number three is, don't be afraid to say no when something doesn't feel right, or it just doesn't fit in your schedule. Don't go ahead and say yes right away. Put it to the side, say no, or do whatever you have to do, so that it fits everything that you're doing. Follow your gut. Your gut never lies. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, your gut is right. And number four, use the Pomodoro technique and set a time, 15 minutes, break it down with breaks, so that you can stop doing what you're doing, stretch out, take a little break, break it down, and it's going to be more fun to get tasks done. So if you got some value off of that, make sure that you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Maybe you want to, share some of the time management techniques that you use in order to be more effective as a music artist in the comment section below. And before I go, I just want to mention that over here on the Big Shot Heard Music channel, we want to help you, especially if you're a rapper or singer, with sharing some tips, tricks, strategies, and knowledge on music marketing, the music business, and more specifically on live song reviews that we do every single week, so that we can give you an extra pair of ears for the music that you're making so much passion about making. And we want to give you some constructive feedback and some exposure, and that we do that every single week on here. So if that's something that you want to be a part of, make sure that you hit the subscribe button right now. All right, and you hit that bell icon so that you can get instant notifications for all the content that we share on here, and for when we go live. We also have a Facebook group. All right, we also have a community that you can join, where you're going to find a dedicated posts that we put inside of the community, so that you can post a link to the music that gets reviewed every single week. We also share some knowledge, some content in there. We have some notifications so that you can stay tuned in to everything that's happening with Big Shot Heard Music channel, which is alongside everything that you're doing here. So you can go to this link right here. It's also in the description box. Join the community. It's growing. I also put that together so that you can connect with other artists, network, mastermind, and collaborate with others, and that's just going to help everybody grow inside of the community. All right, so with that said, I'm going to sign out now. This were the tips that I wanted to share with you when it comes to improving your time management as a music artist. This was Billy here from Big Shot Beats for the Big Shot Heard Music YouTube channel.